I thank God for the opportunity to stand before this great house this morning. And I trust the Holy Spirit to do that which only He can do in this temple. I don't have any words of my own. I trust the Holy Ghost to talk to you by Himself. And I pray that the entrance of God's word into your heart this morning will give light to every dark area in your life. If you believe that, in Jesus' name, say amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. By the grace of God this morning, I am going to be talking on the topic, the Lord my shepherd. The Lord my shepherd. The Lord my shepherd. The Lord my shepherd. I will encourage someone here to take as much notes as you can. Psalm 23 is one of the very popular and very powerful chapters of the Bible. And it describes the kind of relationship that God wants to have with His children. Now, a shepherd basically is someone who rears and tends sheep. Psalm 23 verse 1 describes the relationship God wants to have with you. And so you can take this down at this point. I'm going to start on this note, that you were saved primarily for a relationship, not for ministry. Jesus did not die on the cross so that you can become a pastor or so that you can become a bishop. That was not the primary reason why He went to the cross. No, sir. He went to the cross of Calvary so that He can have a relationship. He can establish the Garden of Eden relationship with you. Revelation 3 verse 20, Jesus said, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens," He said, "I will come in to him and dine with him and he with me." You see, it is very possible for you to be engrossed in the work of the Lord and you are not known by the Lord of the work. I say it again. It is very possible for you to be engrossed, for you to be busy with the work of the Lord, and you are not recognized by the Lord of the work. If you join me to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, from verse 22 to 23. Matthew 7 from verse 22 to 23. Jesus said, "On that day many shall say, but Lord, in your name we heal the sick. In your name we cast out demons. We have prophesied in your name and done many wonders in your name." And look at verse 23. He said, "And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness." May that not be your report in the name of Jesus. I say, may that not be your report on that last day in Jesus' name. It is possible to be busy. It is possible for you to be playing church. It is possible for you to be a bishop, for you to be a minister, for you to be the founder of a church. It is possible for you to be engrossed in the work of the Lord and you are not known by the Lord of the work. That is why I say to you this morning that the primary reason for your salvation is a relationship. And that is what Psalm 23 talks about. The Lord is my shepherd. Now this message is going to be divided into two parts. In the first part, I am going to share with us 10 quick responsibilities of God as a shepherd in your life. And then in the second part of the message, I am going to share with you what you ought to do as His sheep. If you understand what Psalm 23 talks about, your worries in life will decrease. I have come to that stage in my life where I hate religiosity. I don't do things because everybody is doing it. Because I have come to understand by the Spirit of God that many of the practices in the church today are just done out of emotions, not out of God's word. For instance, the only prayers God answers are those prayers in accordance to His will. 1 John 5 verse 14. So you can cry for 3 hours, roll on the ground. If you were not praying in line with God's will, He did not hear you. Are we together? So let us look at Psalm 23 very quickly. Responsibility number one of God, when you make the Lord your shepherd. Look at verse 1. Reading from the Amplified. He said, the Lord is my shepherd to feed, guide, and shield me. I shall not lack. Please, can you put up the picture of the shepherd and the sheep for me? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not lack. Now, when you look at a shepherd and a sheep, the sheep, their lives revolve around the shepherd. And because the life of the sheep revolves around the shepherd is obligated to providing for the sheep. So hear me, sir. When the Lord God is your shepherd, He provides for everything that you need. I will show you what it means to be a sheep, but just go with me. When God is your shepherd, in other words, it means that it is an error for you as God's child to live in anxiety and worry perpetually. Because when the Lord God is your shepherd, He provides everything that you need. Go with me to the book of Matthew and see what Jesus Christ said there. Matthew 6 verse 25. He said, therefore I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Yeah, that's good. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? I want you to take a look at that picture. That is a picture that I want you to put your mind on as we go on through the service. That this is the relationship God wants to have with you. See, hear me, sir. When you begin to worry about things in life, that is why I told you that I hate religiosity. Listen to me there, child of God. The way God designed your life, worry was not part of the fabric of your nature. When you find yourself worrying over things, over issues of this world, it is an indication that you have been disconnected from God. Jesus said, do not worry. Matthew 6 verse 31 to 32. We are still on the first responsibility. He said, therefore do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For after all these things the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. Get this point, get this point. Have you ever seen the sheep ask the shepherd, where shall we find the next pasture? Answer me. Somehow the shepherd knows that it is time for the sheep to eat. And without the sheep asking, the shepherd takes the sheep to where they will find food. I'm going somewhere. You see, there is a level you are in your life. There is a level in your Christianity where you have to ask God what you want. But sir, there is another level in Matthew 6 verse 32 where you seek God's kingdom first and His righteousness, and He takes care of every other detail of your life. If you look at the life of Jesus, sir, how many times did you find Him pray for visa? How many times did you even find Him? Okay, let's say visa, there was no airplane in the days of Jesus. There was no private jets. They used to use their Legacy Benz. But at least He needed to eat. How many times did you see Him pray for the food He wanted to eat? At least they wore clothes. How many times did you see Jesus pray for clothes? Yet when He died, they could not even tear His robe. They had to cast lots. Because He wore purple robes in those days. That was the symbolism of wealth. A carpenter's son. Where did he get that from? This man did not work. He was not on Forbes' list. Yet he had enough money to pay tax for him and Peter. Why? There is a level you get to where before something becomes a need in your life, God takes care of it. Is somebody with me this morning? Let me show you a demonstration of what I am saying. Go with me to 1 Kings chapter 17 from verse 2 to 9 and see how God interacted with His servant Elijah. See, it is not God's design that you should live your life in perpetual worry. When you find yourself worrying over the issues of this life, it is an indication that you have disconnected from God. 1 Kings 17 from verse 2. After famine had hit the land of Israel. Now watch, Elijah did not have to pray. God himself was taking care of issues. From verse 2, he said that the word of the Lord came to him saying, get away from here and turn eastward and hide by the brook Cherith, which flows into the Jordan. And it will be that you shall drink from the brook, that is water being provided, and I have commanded the ravens, the birds, to feed you there. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, for he went and stayed by the brook Cherith. Look at verse 6. The ravens, the birds, they brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. How the birds have a GPS system to know where to carry food to. Note this, Elijah did not pray one prayer for food. When the brook dried, look at what happened. Verse 7. And it happened after a while that the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Before Elijah will make it a prayer point. Then the word of the Lord came to him saying, verse 9, arise, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. See, I have commanded a widow there to provide for you. You see Elijah make one prayer point? This may be so hard for some people to take. Because you have grown up in an environment where you have to pray, fall, and die for everything. I studied the book of Acts and I look at the early church. Many of the prayer points that we are praying today, I didn't find them there. Father, every spiritual husband, Lord, let them fall and die. They didn't have to pray those kind of prayers. Why? Because they were already engrossed. When you are in that center of God's will, they have not created that devil that wants to touch you. But this is how we live our lives today. You know, we are taught to do as you feel like. Follow your heart. Do what you want to do. And some of us want to just serve God the way we like, and you still want to command his blessings upon you. God is not a magician, sir. He has principles that you cannot break. Are we together? We are still on the first responsibility. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, he provides your every need. It's not something you quote, it's something you do. Like you will get to see Psalm 23 only belongs to those who are God's sheep. And I will show you what it means to be a sheep. But my dear, I want you to get to that point where you don't have to pray. There are certain prayers that you can't pray for them again. Like for instance, sir, I don't pray for financial prosperity because I have come to understand that financial prosperity in the kingdom, it responds to obedience, to principles, not prayers. You can pray from now to tomorrow that God should break the demon and the curse and the chain of poverty. Nothing is going to happen if you are breaking his principles. There's any prayers I don't pray again. I don't pray, oh God, open her eyes, every spiritual wife. Where does she want to come from? Where does she want to come from? There are certain prayers I don't pray. My prayer day and night is, God, help me to seek your kingdom first and your righteousness. Because once that is in place, every other thing will fall in place. Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7. He said what? Be anxious for nothing. I am getting too old to marry. Be anxious for nothing. Yes, sir. All my mates have gotten their degree. Be anxious for nothing. He said Nigeria is bad. Be anxious for nothing. Mommy is about to retire. I'm not finished paying my school fees. Be anxious for nothing. Daddy is in the hospital. They gave him a terminal diagnosis. Be anxious for nothing. But what? In everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, he said, let your request be made known to God. And verse 7 said, and the peace of God that passes, that transcends all human understanding, shall mount guard over your heart. Are we together? Praise God. Hallelujah. Responsibility number 2. When you make the Lord your shepherd, he leads you to the place of profitability. When you make the Lord your shepherd, he leads you to the place of profitability. Psalm 23 verse 2a, the first part. He said he makes me lie down where? He makes me lie down where, sir? Your green pastures, you can take this down, is not where you lead yourself to. It's where God leads you to. Prosperity is not a function of location. It's a function of your obedience to divine instructions. Take that down. Your prosperity in this life is not a function of location. If you think that US is the land of opportunities, carry yourself there. It will shock you at the number of Nigerian professors that are washing plates. You would even be shocked that people who earn in St. Kitts are far better than those in US. Because by the time they collect, you start to collect your money, what will be left? You are complaining about tithes. Let the government take their tax. That's why some of you, your uncles have been there, your brothers have been there. You are just proud that they are there. But if they ask you quite carefully, when was the last time they sent you something? You know. Because when you call them today, I'm coming. You call them tomorrow, I will see you next week. They look for one legal something to just explain to you. The truth about the matter is that they are suffering. You are doing I did not mention your name. Now you want to say God forbid. People are suffering. Do you know the number of persons that are homeless? They are active in the day. It's at night they go and sleep anywhere the darkness meets them, they sleep there. See, stop deceiving yourself. The fact that somebody is US does not mean that everything is well with them. Your profitability is where God takes you to. Because if God has said you should go to the desert, sir, in that desert He will bless you. Because God is committed to what He has commanded. That's why He's God. His word will never fall to the ground. Instead of God's word to fail, the whole world, He said heaven and earth will pass away, but one hook from my word will not fall. So those of you who are about to make decisions, so when you want to go to US, you are processing US visa. Did God send you there? This generation, God of heaven, God is going to help this generation. Because many of us do things out of popular opinion, and they say that Canada is easy to get residency permit. If God did not send you there, you will suffer there. I am telling you, it is not, if you like, say God forbid, it's not even a prayer. The fact that you are saying God forbid 200 times does not mean God is going to prevent it from happening. Because if you are breaking His rule, you will suffer it. I say I hate religiosity. When you ever just pray religious, emotional prayers, and you feel you have said something. Look at the book of join me, the Holy Spirit. Genesis 26 from verse 1 to 14. God told Isaac, stay in Gerar, a place where there was famine. Please take me to verse 12. See, to the logical mind, why would you remain in a land that is not prosperous? There's famine, the land is dry, the ground is dry, the ground is barren, nothing is going to happen. Your logical mind would have told you to get out of there quick. But look at what happened in verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold. A land that was supposed to be a land of famine. Every other person were experiencing losses, but just one person walking by divine instruction. He had 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. Go to verse 13, please, and see his report. So that the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. Verse 14. He said, for he had what? Possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and a great number of servants. So the Philistines envied him. This was supposed to be a land of famine. How do you get possessions of flocks and possessions of herds? When the Lord is your shepherd, He leads you to the place of profitability. I told you before, I served in Bochi. I rocked that state. Wherever that person was suffering, I rocked it. They posted people to village. I was first posted there, but they had to repost me. I'm not saying village. Village where they are specific. You know that so you can call anywhere. No, this village, there is a particular mountain. You have to climb to get network. Then you not turn your phone upside down for it to declare. That was when they initially posted me. They had to be divine relocation. And I was given the option of choosing where you want to head. Brothers and sisters, from that village to the State School of Nursing, that was where I sat. Rukky, collecting money from here, collecting money from there. In the land of dryness. I wanted to walk my way to Lagos. God redirected me there. I was almost entering into depression initially, until God opened my eyes to see. In that same land, I had a national award before I finished my service. Your profitability in life is where God is leading you to. So, sir, before you carry yourself and say that you are going to Zimbabwe, ask yourself, has God sent me there? I know none of you are God has sent you. And I ask now, who has God called to Zimbabwe? Nobody's hand will raise up. Go on. But if I ask, who has God called right now to US, to Canada? Even if God has not told you anything, you raise up. You call, many of you have called yourself there. You have called yourself there. You will die there. Some of you are even afraid to ask God, Father, what is the next step? Some of you don't pray. There are prayers some Christians don't pray because they don't want to hear something that they don't want. Even when you ask God, you are already manipulating the answer in your head. Some of you give God two options. Father, if it is US, let it not be light tomorrow. If it is Canada, let rain fall this morning. Your green pastures is where God leads you to. When the Lord is your shepherd, He does that. Point number 3, very quickly. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, He puts you in a state of shalom. Shalom is peace, tranquility, calmness. Psalm 23, verse 2b. He said, He leads me beside the still waters, not beside troubled waters. When God is the pilot of your life, it's that state of shalom. See, there is a piece of the world, there is a peace that only Jesus gives. If you go to John 14, verse 27. John 14, verse 27, He said, my peace I leave with you. Not any kind of peace. He said, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled. Now let it be afraid. When God is the shepherd of your life, nothing can trouble you. Some of you have not tasted God yet. That is why you are still shaking. That is why you are still sitting on the fence. I pray that God will open your eyes to see Him. And I pray that God will give you the zeal to experience Him deeper than you have ever seen. Instead of peace. Look at the story of Jesus. Matthew chapter 8 from verse 23 to 27. You can write that down. Matthew 8 from verse 23 to 27. There was storm when I said, of all the places where people will sleep, Brother Richard. I know there are some chronic sleepers. There are some, I used to respect, there are people, see, sleep has grade. Sleep has grade. There are people that no matter what, if you like be blowing broom here, they will sleep soundly. Soundly, nothing. And until their sleep is complete, they are not waking up. If you like, there are people like that. But for normal sleepers like me, a little thing, I can't even sleep when there is noise because it's not going to be possible. My brain will be working 24/7. I have to even put my phone on silent when I sleep because just a little ring and I've already gotten up. But there are people who can sleep in any condition. They just cross their leg, press their back, do like that. Some of them will even be looking at you in class when you are teaching, but they are gone. And you wonder, how can this one's eye be open and you are sleeping? Jesus was sleeping in the storm. Everybody was being frightened. He slept in the storm. Glory. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, He said, when men say there is a casting down, you shall see there is a lifting up. Because you belong to a different jurisdiction as God's child.
So it doesn't matter if they tell you that husbands are scarce, you just know that you are the symbol of God's favor to a man. And when it is time, just as God brought Eve to Adam, he will carry you to your own. Amen. Nobody match makes like God. You are not worried. It doesn't matter what the economy of the world is. He said, my God shall supply all your needs. Not according to the economy of US, not according to who is the president of Buhari. They just released a report that Nigeria is poorer today under Buhari. But you just know that irrespective of it, God is in charge of my life. Amen. Is that peace? There is that peace. You just know. You just know. Apostle Paul said, and we know, Romans 8 verse 23, that all things, Romans 8 verse 28, all things work together for good. And that gives you confidence to push on in life. Hallelujah. Amen. You can take this verse down, Isaiah 26 verse 3. Say, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him. Which means, sir, if you are not in a state of perfect peace, your mind is not stayed on God. It is stayed on something else. You are fixating your attention on your problems. That is why you are being tossed to and fro. Are we being blessed so far? Point number 4, very quickly. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, you won't burn out. You can't burn out. Verse 3a says, he restores my soul. Amplified goes on to say, he refreshes my soul. See, you don't understand. See, I want you to, please pull up that picture again of the shepherd and the sheep. The shepherd is conscious about the welfare, the well-being of the sheep. Some of you just know God as God. Okay, this one is beautiful. Show me the other way. Some of you know God as God. See the sheep, they are just carried away. All they are doing is just eating. That's the shepherd there chasing away lion. That is who God wants to be to you. Some of you just know God as the judge of the whole earth. You have not come to know him as Father. When you begin to know God as Father, when you begin to know him as Daddy, there is something that happens to you. Then spending time with God will not be hard, because it's like talking to your, he's even someone you can share. You don't even need to hide anything from him. Some of you cannot share things with your father because you know that if you tell him this, that the one boy was just talking to me, at this age, our parents are still very, very dramatic. There are things you can't tell your father. Some of you here cannot even tell your parents that you're already having feelings for somebody. You can't. Because they will use you to do morning devotion, afternoon devotion, and night. And they will use you as prayer points in their church. But with God, there is no boundary. Because you are not, there is nothing to prove. What are you trying to hide? He already knows you. Even before you say what you want, he already knows. So there's nothing to, you don't need to spice up. You don't need to speak British English, American English. As the thing is doing, you just say, Father, this is how it is. You won't burn out. Go with me to the book of 1 Kings chapter 19. From verse 1 to 8, just write it down. Elijah, after the conquest he had made, the man he heard that King Jezebel said that it will not be well with me if I don't kill you. I must kill you. Somebody promises you that, look, it's my life ambition to kill you. That was the state of Elijah. For the first time, Elijah was so very afraid. He ran, he begged God one, but he said, Lord, please, it's time for you to just kill me. Just end it. Instead of this woman to kill me, you just kill me yourself. Let me know I died at your hand. God looked at Elijah and said, no, it's hunger that is this man's problem. And he sent an angel. Oh God, I would love to experience that. Once in a while, it's good to chop some angelic food. Not our rice that we eat here on the island. He said, as he lay down, the angel touched him and said unto him, arise and eat. Your problem is hunger, brother. You know, it's not death that is doing you, it's hunger. He had the first one. He slept. The angel woke him up again, brought me home. I can see that your Your digestive system is not yet full. Eat again. Arise and eat. And you are told that he went in the strength of that meal for 40 days and 40 nights. This man was trekking. I would love to eat that food. It just save you a lot of money. Just chop once a month and you just go. He restores my soul. That is why it is very important for you to have a relationship with God. Because in your secret place is when you get recharged. Is when you get reinvigorated. That is why you notice Jesus at every little opportunity he has come to the mountain to be with the Father. And then he will come back recharged. Some of you little problems, somebody just tells you one small thing you don't like, the rest of your day is scattered. It's because you don't get recharged by God. Sometimes I just get so pissed off, I just go to one place, I have a little joint in school, just go there and just run to God. Father, this is the issue. What I cannot tell you to your face, I will can't tell my father. Say, Lord, I don't like what XYZ did. I point out there. And when I can't come out of that condition, sir, with the same body. He restores my soul. He re-energizes me. He's the engine of my life. Some of you need to make God your shepherd. When he's your shepherd, you won't burn out. I can assure you of that. Because he will take you systematically through. Strength in this life is not by biceps, so it's not by triceps. Forget it. You may even have to be. You are not seeing disease that money cannot cure, right? You will keep spending and spend. You did not read the woman with issue of blood for 12 years. From one physician, there's no cure. No cure. But when you are connected with the source of life, he will liberate you. Hallelujah. Point number 6 very quickly. Or point number 5. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, he leads you in the path of righteousness. You find that in verse 3. Oh, I didn't skip anything. Okay. That's number 5. He leads you in the path of righteousness. He said he does so for his name's sake. Some of you don't understand that the laws of God protect you from yourself. If you understand that, you will stop joking with the principles of God. For instance, look at Joseph. Genesis 39. Potiphar's wife. I mean, you are handsome. You are the second in command in my husband's house. And then on top of that, I now like you. I mean, which young man today will not want to have his August madam as his sugar mommy? Oh, you felt time for your life, Richard. Hallelujah. Bless God. Your spiritual brothers in the house today. In this time and season, people are ready to die there. No, I'm telling you, sometimes I just go online, I go to some Nigerian site. When I want to get angry, I just look for Nigerian news. Because 99% of the times you always find something that irritates you. Like, that's it. So if I just want to, I say, I'm getting tired, I need something to just get me angry so that my eyes will open. Just go and look at some Nigerian news. And you will just see more nonsense. One woman recently was calling Yahoo boys to come and use her as ritual, please. At least you will make money before you die. People are ready to die there. In this condition, it's not sugar mommy, no problem. Don't you see 25 years old boy getting married to 75-year-old white woman because he wants passport?
No.
What's love? Love has no age limit. That's why you marry your great grandmother. I want to say, man, Joseph was in that condition. And I can assure you that Potiphar's wife was not ugly. But we are told by Joseph, look at verse 9. He told the woman, Genesis 9, verse 9b. He said there is no 39 verse. He said there is no one greater in this house than I. Nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. He said, how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Because of the righteousness of God that was at work in Joseph, he chose not to do that. Sir, if he had slept with Potiphar's wife once, I can assure you he would have destroyed his destiny.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because that once, Potiphar's wife will make Joseph her sex toy. He's not going anywhere. You slept once, where are you going to? You are not going nowhere. She's going to take off. You will get fat in that house. You are not this house, it's me and you. The day you say you want to go, she will break you. You destroy your life. That is what happens to you when the word of God is guiding your life. When God is your shepherd, he makes all things to fall in place. He leads you, prevent you from making mistakes that will destroy your destiny. Proverbs 14 verse 12 says that there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. And when God is your shepherd, he prevents you from taking that way of death. Prevents you from taking that way of death. Like the word of God makes you wiser than your peers. You don't understand. It sends you light years ahead. Light years ahead of your mates. That's I don't need to sleep with 5 women to find the one. Brother, no. I don't. I don't need that experience. Sir, hear me. Experience is not the best teacher. Obedience to the word of God is the best teacher. Because it prevents you from making mistakes. Abi, do you want to experience sex first, Sister Jennifer, and have pregnancy before you know that it is not a good thing if you are not doing with your husband? No, you want to experience the best teacher. You want to, Brother Tamosa, you want to experience cocaine first. You want to take some. As you are preparing for, just take some for your exam. Let it begin to allow you to witness certain dimensions. You begin to even see the exam they are going to ask you instead. You want to experience cocaine first before you know that it's bad for your health. When you make God your shepherd, he leads you in the path of righteousness. Point number 6 very quickly. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, you enjoy his divine presence. And with his presence comes protection, his protection and his direction. Verse 4 say, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why do I have that confidence? For thou art with me. No matter where I find myself, I have that confidence. I have that confidence. I have said it before. I'm going to say it again, that the safest place in this world can be found in Psalm 91 verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's the safest place. If you think Canada is safe, go. May you not be in the shopping mall and in wait. Even sometimes I feel that Nigeria is safer than US. But this Nigeria, no matter how the craze is, you hardly find someone that will just carry gun like shooting people. In fact, you won't even find a gun. And you ask yourself, when you have small money, how do you just invest small money that you are not eating for 5 weeks? You now get small money, you just need to go and buy gun out of the shoot. No, you first feed yourself. It's like the average Nigerian is too hungry to begin to have time to be planning suicide bombings. You don't have time for that. Life is too precious. As bad as Nigeria is, the highest gun violence is in US. Because any human being cannot wake up. My mother says something I do not like. You just see your face facing the money, Jeremiah. You remind me of my mother. That's all. And people are just dying anyhow. People, for stupid reasons. My girlfriend dumped me. And so, is it my fault? So then don't have your issue with your girl. Why are you coming to a whole class? You just kill everybody because one girl dumped you. My brother, take your issue with your girlfriend. When the Lord God is your shepherd, he protects you. His divine presence is with you. Please show that picture again. You see the shepherd with the rod. He said, your rod and your staff. The rod of a shepherd is symbolic of protection. The staff of a shepherd is symbolic of direction. The shepherd uses his rod. The other one. The shepherd uses the rod to fight off wild animals and uses the staff to lead his sheep. So when God is your shepherd, his presence stays with you. And because of that presence, you are protected. In that presence, you get direction. In that presence, you cannot miss it. Second Kings chapter 6 from verse 8 to 17. Time will not permit me to go there. I'm trying to rush up this now. Second Kings 6 from verse 8 to 17. When king of Syria came to look for prophet Elisha, as he stood out, his servant looked and saw the whole mountain was full of horses and chariots, and he was afraid. And Elijah told him to be calm. He said, "For they that be with us are greater than they that be against us." And then he prayed that God should open the eyes of his servant. And when the eyes of the servant were opened, look at what happened in verse 17. He said that the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw and beheld, and saw that the mountain was full of what? Horses and chariots of fire. When you make the Lord your shepherd, God help us. This 7th point very quickly. When you make the Lord God your shepherd, he makes your enemies walk in your favor. Verse 5a. He said, "Thou hast prepared a table before me where? In the presence of who? My family." Talk to me, my family, my friends, my enemies. Your enemies will do more to promote you than your friends when you have a covenant with God. Joseph needed his hateful brothers and Potiphar's wife to get to the throne. Jacob needed Uncle Laban to get his flocks multiplied. Even Jesus needed Judas to get to the cross. David needed Goliath to be a celebrity. So why are you complaining about your enemies? When somebody introduces himself to you as your enemy, in your mind, see that person as your footstool. Because God is going to use you to promote me. It's as simple as that. If you want to make yourself my enemy, no problem. Your enemies will do more to promote you than your friends. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 26 says that for God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to a man who is good in his sight, but to the sinner he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before God. God makes your enemies to work in your favor. Number 8, very quickly, is that when you make the Lord God your shepherd, he empowers you with his Holy Spirit. He empowers you with his anointing. He said, "Thou anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over." Because God knows, according to Zechariah 4 verse 6, that not by power, nor by might, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And as a symbol of ownership, he gives you that spirit. It was that same spirit that was at work in the life of Jesus. Acts 10 verse 38, he said how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with what? The Holy Spirit and with power. And he went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil. For God was with him. A 9th point very quickly is that when you make the Lord God your shepherd, his goodness and his mercies, they dwell with you. You become a magnet for his. See, there are people who are blessing factors, and I want you to understand that as God's child, if you understand the authority that you carry, you are the definition, you are the symbolism of God's blessing factor wherever you find yourself. Which means that because you are in this place is blessed. Because I go to that school is blessed. That is who the child of God is. Because you are a descendant of Abraham. And I'm going to show you from the scriptures. Descendants of Abraham, they carried the blessing from wherever they found themselves. That place prospered because of them. Join me. Genesis chapter 30 verse 27. Hear what Laban said to Jacob. Genesis 30 verse 27. He said, and Laban said to him, please stay, if I have found favor in your eyes. Why? For I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for your sake. I want you to preach to someone and tell the person I am a blessing factor. Tell the person, treat me well. Because I'm a blessing factor. Hallelujah. When you get a hold of this truth, man, you don't need to sleep with that boss to get an employment. If he says he doesn't want you, just it is your loss. It is your loss. Because I know what I carry. Because I'm here, your business will not crash. Because I'm here, your company will not close down. When you understand this, it gives you, that is why there's a level many of us carry ourselves. Some people call it arrogance. It's not arrogance, sir. It is a depth of spiritual understanding. Are we together? When the Lord God is your shepherd, he said, goodness and mercy shall follow you. You become a magnet for it, wherever you find yourself. That's why Jesus Christ told the disciples, if you go to a place and they receive you, say peace be unto this place, and your peace will stay there. But if they reject you, he said before you step out, shake up the dust from off your feet. And he said it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the last day than for that place. Why? You are a blessing factor. By virtue of the fact that God is your shepherd, you are a magnet of his goodness and his mercies. Amplified arts and unfailing love. My last point because of my time. When you make the Lord God your shepherd. Okay, hold on before I go to number 10. I just want to show you again this blessing factor thing. Genesis 39 verse 5. Let's look at that very quickly. Genesis 39 verse 5. It says, so it was from the time that he had made him, who? Joseph, overseer of his house, and all that he had. What happened? That the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house and in the field. Why? He had a blessing factor in the house. My last point very quickly is that when you make the Lord God your shepherd, he leads you right into eternity with him. So that I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. The Holy Spirit taught me this recently. Sometimes I used to have the fear of missing the mark. What if I start and I lead people astray? What if I start and I stop halfway? And the Lord told me to Jude 1 verse 24. Say, now to him who is able to keep you from falling, from stumbling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. It is God who will keep you through the end. Hallelujah. So now I've showed you what the responsibilities of God as a shepherd is to his children. And very quickly, what is the criteria for being his sheep? Because the whole of Psalm 23 does not belong to any kind of Christian. It belongs to those who are sheep to God. So what is the criteria of his sheep? For you to be a sheep of the Most High God, the first criteria is submission. I mean salvation. There are just two of them. Salvation. Have you seen? Salvation is not that I come to church on Sunday. No, sir, that's not what I mean. It's not that you wear a cross on your neck, a crucifix. Because like for instance, I've seen in St. Kids that they are different sizes of cross on their neck. Every Sunday, you put your shirt bottom to the top and you just so majestic, big cross. Very giant. Sir, that does not make you a Christian. You are not a Christian by association. Even Christianity is not a transferable trait. It's not a genetic trait. You are not a Christian because your father and mother are Christians. It doesn't work like that, sir. Every man is going to give account for himself. Are you saved? Because that is the starting point. You cannot be a sheep of God if you are not saved. No, sir. Salvation is you have come to the point where you say, Lord, I give it all to you. With your mouth you have confessed Jesus, not the one you did on your behalf. Not the one you did for publicity stunts. Everybody was going and you just felt I should go, let me not be. Or you know, there are some people, when pastor announces there is somebody in this place that the Lord is saying you should give your life to Christ, and nobody is coming out. Then somebody will just volunteer to come and let them look as though pastor is lying. No, that's not the kind of salvation I'm talking about. You know down inside you that this is what you should do. That's the first criteria. The second one in closing is submission. The kingdom of heaven is built upon principles. Sir, if you are living in disobedience, you are shooting yourself in the foot. I want you to remember that the devil has only one responsibility before God, day and night. He is the accuser of the brethren. And the only admonition he has against you before God is your disobedience. He encourages you to disobey. And he goes back to God to present to God the reason why you should not be blessed. Isaiah 1 verse 19 to 20 says what? If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the best of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, he said, behold, you shall be devoured by the sword. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken this. It was not a suggestion, it's a commandment. Child of God, come to that point where you are totally submitted to God. That is what a sheep is to a shepherd. The life of the sheep revolves around the shepherd. The sheep does not go where the shepherd does not go. The sheep stays where the shepherd stays and goes where the shepherd goes. The sheep will not be going left when the shepherd is going right. You cannot call yourself a sheep when you are living in disobedience to God. Many of us today, you can confuse God with your confession. Check it. The love of God is unconditional, but the blessings, for every blessing in God's word, there's always a condition attached. And before you start praying the blessing upon your life, ask yourself, have you fulfilled the condition? Because you can never confuse God with your confession. Abraham's blessings are not yours because you sing it in a song. Jesus said, if you are truly the sons of Abraham, you will do the works of Abraham. Check it. Every blessing in the word of God, there is a condition attached to it. Philippians 4 verse 19 does not belong to every Christian. It belongs to those Christians like the Philippi church who have gone into the account of giving and receiving. Check it, read them. There are principles for everything. And Ecclesiastes 10 verse 8 says that he who breaks the edge, the serpent will bite. I want to beg of somebody here today. Your life will be easier as a Christian if from today you decide that I will study God's word for myself. I will